A pleasant day everyone and welcome to our video lesson for today. This day we'll be discussing the distance and midpoint formulas. These two are very essential in problem solving with respect to different types of quadrilaterals. So gagamitin natin itong dalawang formulas na ito kapag nagsosolve na tayo ng mga problems regarding quadrilaterals. So please listen and watch the video very carefully. Once again, to the grade 9 Socrates, good morning and welcome to our video lesson. Let's start with the distance formula. The distance formula, pag sinabi natin distance formula, ginagamit natin ito sa pagkuha ng distansya, pagkuha ng kung gaano kalayo ang dalawang points sa isa't isa. Okay, so the distance formula is used to find the distance between 2 points, and it is being defined as d, or distance, is equal to the square root of the quantity of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So ito yung formula. Please take note, copy this formula in your notebook and try to follow solving and applying this distance formula. Suppose that we are asked to solve for the distance of points A and B. And point A is in 4,8 and B is in 112. Paano natin makukuha yung distance ng dalawang points na ito? We have points A and point B. So A is 4,8 and B is equal to 112. The distance formula is the square root of the quantity of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. As you can see, we have two different types of x's here and two different types of y's. Meron dalawang klase ng x at merong dalawang klase ng y. Kaya meron tayong x sub 1 at saka x sub 2. Saan ang gagaling ngayon yon? So our x sub 2, so pangalanan natin ito. Sa A, we have 4,8. 4,8. Ibig sabihin, ang x natin dito ay, excuse me, ang x natin dito ay 4, ang y ay 8. In point B, our x is 1 and our y is 12. So para makuha natin itong nasa formula, we name this 4 as x sub 1. So ang kapartner niya ay si y sub 1. And then B, si 1 ang ating x sub 2 and 12 is our y sub 2. Actually, pwede magkapalit yun. Ano? Pwedeng ito ngayon si x sub 1. So ang kapartner niya ay si y sub 1. Ito si x sub 2 and this is your y sub 2. Pwede siyang magkapalit. Ganun din yung makukuha nating sagot. Okay? But for the meantime, let us use 4 as our x sub 1 and 8 is our y sub 1. Then 1 is our x sub 2 and 12 is our y sub 2. So by substitution, our x sub 2 is 1. And then our x sub 1 is 4. And then our y sub 2 is 12. And our y sub 1 is 8. Then we perform some algebraic manipulations here. We substitute. So x sub 2 is 1. Then x sub 1 is 4. Y sub 2 is 12 minus y sub 1, which is 8. And then we simplify it further. 1 minus 4 is negative 3 squared plus 12 minus 4 is 12 minus 8 is equal to 4 squared. So you will be having negative 3 squared is 9, and then 4 squared is 16. So you will have the square root of 9 plus 16, and that is equal to the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is plus or minus 5. But we take positive 5 because we are looking for the distance, and the distance is always positive. Okay? So ang sagot natin dito ngayon, the distance of these 2 points is 5. So, ang distansya ng dalawa, 5 units. You try to solve for the distance of the following by applying the distance formula. Okay? So you just pause this video and try to solve your own distance. And then if you want to know the answer, just continue playing the video. For letter A, we have 2 points, 2, 7, and 11, 9. For letter B, we have negative 5, 8, and 2, negative 4. So what we have to do is to apply the formula. So you will have D is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So what is your x sub 2? 11 minus 2. Saan nanggaling yung 9? The difference of 11 and 2. 11 minus 2 is 9 squared. Then 9 minus 7 is 2 squared. Simplifying it further, you will have 9 squared is 81. Then 2 squared equals 4. 81 plus 4 is 85. And we know that 85 is not a perfect square. So you just write it as the square root of 85. But if you have a calculator, you can solve for the square root of 85. So that's basically 9 point something. For letter B, we have x sub 2 is 2 minus negative 5. 2 minus negative 5 is equal to 7. The negative 4 minus 8 is negative 12. 7 squared is 49. Negative 12 squared is 144. So 49 plus 144 is equal to 193. And the square root of 193 is not exact. So you can leave it as that. But if you have calculator, you can simplify it into decimals. Okay. So that's how you solve for the distance. Okay? We move on to the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula meaning we have to find the middle point. Pag sinabi natin middle point, ito yung pinakagitna ng dalawang points. Okay? And then, kung meron tayong midpoint, yung portion from the midpoint to any point of that 2 points, equal silang dalawa. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na midpoint. Midpoint, ibig sabihin, pinakagitnang point sa pagitan ng dalawang given points. That's the difference. Pag sinabi nating distance, yung distansya ang sinusukat, yung layo ng bawat isang point sa isa't isa. While, when we solve for the midpoint, we solve for, or we are computing for the point in the middle of the other 2 points. And the formula in solving for the midpoint of 2 points or finding the midpoint of a line segment is given as midpoint is equal to x sub 2 plus x sub 1 divided by 2, y sub 2 plus y sub 1 divided by 2. Since we are looking for midpoint, ang sagot natin dito, point. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang x, meron siyang y. Okay? Ito yung formula sa pagkuha ng x. I-add mo lang yung dalawang given x's. Divide mo by 2. That's your x. The x of your midpoint. Then, solving for the y of the midpoint, you just add 2 y's. Then, divide it by 2. Then, that's the y of the midpoint. Okay. Suppose that we have these 2 points. A, 4, 8. And then B is 1, 12. Using the midpoint formula, we'll be having, i-add lang natin yung dalawang x. Ano yung dalawang x natin? 4 and 1. So that's 5 divided by 2. That's 5 over 2. Yan. So you will have 5 over 2. And then yung isa naman, i-add mo lang yung dalawang y. 8 plus 12 is equal to 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So the midpoint is 5 halves 10. Or, you may simplify 5 halves by 2.5. So, pwede siyang 2.5, 10. That's the midpoint of these 2 points, 4, 8, and 1, 12. By the way, when you read ordered pairs, ibig sabihin, may x siya at saka may y, may mga, huwag nyo lalagyan ng end, no? So, it should be 4, 8. Hindi 4 and 8. Okay? So, we read this as 4, 8 because this is just 1 point. 4, 8. You try solving for the midpoint of the following 2 points. You just pause the video and try to solve for the midpoint. And then if you wanna know the answer or the midpoint of these 2 points, just continue playing the video. Okay, for letter A, we have 2, 7 and 14, 9. For letter B, we have -5, 8 and 2, -4. So para makuha natin yung midpoint, anong gagawin? We have to add 2 x's. Our first x is 2 and our second x is 14. So 2 plus 14 is 16. Divide it by 2, so you will have 8. And then next, to get the y, you have 7 plus 9. 16 divided by 2 is also 8. So our midpoint is at 0.88. How about for letter B? So we add -5 and 2. -5 plus 2 is equal to -3. Divide it by 2 is -3 over 2 or -1.5. And then our y is 8 plus -4. That's positive 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. So our answer or our midpoint is -3 over 2, 2. -3 over 2 can be expressed in decimal, which is equal to -1.5. So that is how you solve for the midpoint of the 2 points. Okay, so you have 2 formulas here, the distance formula and the formula in solving for the midpoint of 2 points. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that you learned something from this discussion. Keep safe everyone and God bless you all.